What would you say is that typical size of water icing as a resource material?
Oh, wow. To be very honest, I couldn't even begin to estimate the potential size, because one thing is that it spreads.
Okay.
So the size today may not necessarily be the size tomorrow. So once the seeds are in the water, the seeds are viable for 30 years. And as a result of the tide, people actually ignorantly thinking it's an ornamental plant and introducing it to other bodies. Causes the spread to be very honest, I couldn't even begin to huge estimate the potential size, because one thing is how we can take this menace and transform it today, not necessarily be the size tomorrow. So once the seeds are in the water, the seeds are viable.
Hello guys, my name is Akinshebela Bui and I'm the CEO of the brand known as Alubata. And at Alubata, we make modular shoes from recycled plastic waste. Over the years, we realized that there are over 381 million tons of plastic waste produced annually. But we have a bigger problem here, whereby we have just only about 9% of this plastic waste that have ever been recycled. Now we have another recurrent situation whereby we have a lot of recycling companies around, but the volume of this plastic waste remains constant in the environment. And so we have more people reusing this plastic waste rather than upcycle or recycle them. And that has led into a situation whereby we have over 5 trillion plastics still floating in our oceans to date. Thus, with a background in environmental science and in shoe design, we started imagining if we could convert all of this plastic waste to footwear. And so we also realized that the potential for impact is so huge, and the global footwear market is currently valued at $264 billion per annum. And so we decided to occupy this niche of low-cost recycled plastic shoes that make a profit while also benefiting people and planet. Here is our invention. And so we currently have a patent in Nigeria and also in the US, and 2 design rights on this invention, whereby we make not just shoes from plastic waste, but also modular shoes. So as a buyer, you unzip this part of the shoe. Then you can replace it with another color. So aside that, we are just making shoes from plastic waste. We are also reducing the cost on the customer side. We are also reducing the volume we should carry, especially for people that travel a lot. We have 2 customer segments, which are the mass market, and also in about 3 to 4 years' time, we also intend to have a franchise. And so we have a team. We are a team of environmental scientists, business analysts, and project manager. We also have a quality assurance manager, also a fashion photographer. Aside the fact that we are making shoes from plastic waste, 5% of every shoe that is being purchased is being dedicated to feeding children and empowering women in underserved community, because we realize that the downhill effect of these pollutants affect these people the most. So in a year alone, we'll have contributed over 6.6% of our profit to this cost, and also offsetted over 40 million tons of this plastic waste, of carbon emissions from our invention per annum. We really hope that you join us and in fostering our planet Earth and our cause to posterity. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your attention. Thanks a lot.
I've been very big on sustainable agriculture for a while, and then I heard of hydroponics and vertical farming, 2 systems, and I did a bit of research, and it just seemed like the perfect merger, to be able to use the benefits of those 2 systems, to achieve food security and combat all the problems we have. So I decided to pursue a master's in it and do my research in it, and find out how we can make it more efficient, because I'm from Nigeria, and so I'm not about to spend my time doing something that's only applicable in one part of the world. So that was my big question: how can we do this more efficiently?
is that possible size of water icing as a resource material?
Oh, wow. To be very honest, I couldn't even begin to estimate the potential size because one thing is that it spreads.
Okay.
So the size today may not necessarily be the size tomorrow. So once the seeds are in the waters, the seeds are viable for 30 years. And as a result of, the tide, people actually ignorantly thinking it's an ornamental plant and introducing it to other bodies causes the spread of this weed. It's a huge opportunity in terms of looking at how we can take this menace and transform it into an economic advantage.
Hello guys, my name is Alubata and I'm the CEO of the brand known as Alubata. And at Alubata, we make modular shoes from recycled plastic waste. Over the years, we realized that there are over 381 million tons of plastic waste produced annually. But we have a bigger problem here, whereby we have just only about 9% of this plastic waste that have ever been recycled. Now we have another recurrent situation whereby we have a lot of recycling companies around, but the volume of this plastic waste remains constant in the environment. And so we have more people reusing this plastic waste rather than upcycle or recycle them. And that has led into a situation whereby we have over 5 trillion plastics still floating in our oceans to date. Thus, with a background in environmental science and in shoe design, we started imagining if we could convert all of this plastic waste to footwear. And so we also realized that the potential for impact is so huge, and the global footwear market is currently valued at $264 billion per annum. And so we decided to occupy this niche of low-cost recycled plastic shoes that make a profit while also benefiting people and planet. Here is our invention. And so we currently have a patent in Nigeria and also in the US and 2 design rights on this invention, whereby we make not just shoes from plastic waste, but also modular shoes. So as a buyer, you unzip this part of the shoe. Then you can replace it with another color. So aside that, we are just making shoes from plastic waste. We are also reducing the cost on the customer side. We are also reducing the volume we should carry, especially for people that travel a lot. We have 2 customer segments, which are the mass market, and also in about 3 to 4 years' time, we also intend to have a franchise. And so we have a team. We are a team of environmental scientists, business analysts, and project manager. We also have a quality assurance manager, also a fashion photographer. Aside the fact that we are making shoes from plastic waste, 5% of every shoe that is being purchased is being dedicated to feeding children and empowering women in underserved community, because we realize that the downhill effect of these pollutants affect these people the most. So in a year alone, we'll have contributed over 6.6% of our profit to this cost, and also offsetted over 40 million tons of this plastic waste, of carbon emissions from our invention per annum. We really hope that you join us and in fostering our planet Earth and our cause to posterity. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your attention. Thanks a lot.
I've been very big on sustainable agriculture for a while, and then I heard of hydroponics and vertical farming, 2 systems, and I did a bit of research, and it just seemed like the perfect merger, to be able to use those.
Okay. Here we are. It's a beautiful Thursday morning here from the city of Abuja, and I am feeling drier by the day. And I'm here again for the next edition of Green Innovation Talks with Mr. Banks. And I have with me Fela Akinse, who will be discussing with us on circularity in fashion industry. Now, we all know that circularity is that kind of, is that economic concept where there's a loop in the use of resources or also waste, so that it keeps going around. It is not a linear phase. It means that resources can be reused and reused until there is zero waste. We can see circularity in different parts of the world and also in different sectors. There's circularity in in energy, there's circularity in agriculture, there's circularity in water, there's circularity in fashion, there's circularity in automobiles, sustainable mobility, there's circularity in building. So there's circularity everywhere around us. And circularity, or rather the circular economy, is that economy where we think that if it's largely tapped in a country like Nigeria, where we have gaps and a need for jobs and resolve different kind of gaps that we have in our country. So how are you?
Hello. Hi. Great to have you too.
I mean, I listened to that your first the video before this conversation, and I was really wowed by your analysis of the figures of of the circular fashion industry, and also the shoe industry and things that you do. To kick off this conversation, we would like to start first by getting to know who you are, what you've done, and what you're doing.
All right. Thank you. My name is Fela, and I'm the CEO and also a co-founder at the brand Alubata. And right now at Alubata, we occupy this niche of low-cost recycled plastic shoes that makes a profit whilst benefiting people and planet. But then we didn't start with making shoes from plastic waste. And so I had initially had a background in business analysis, and also I'm as an environmental scientist, and I've been designing shoes for about over 5 years now. So while I was working as an environmental scientist, I've always had a problem with plastic pollution. And so, and I've always known that the problem with the plastics is in the volume. So this is a bottle anyway, but I'll use this like as an example of a plastic. Now, so if this is a plastic, the problem is in the volume. So if I can squash this particular plastic, then I will have contributed to reducing the volume, and that will also reduce the pollution. And so in my head, I've always thought about it then that, so why, while I was working as an environmental scientist then that, why can't we drink water, like our bottled water, just like we take our pure water and squeeze the bottles and throw it probably in the can or so. So I felt like so probably would have been able to reduce all those things then. But then that was just by the way. So before then, I've been designing shoes, and so we used to make shoes from leather. And what we realized that the leather market, there is a very huge leather market in Nigeria. But the sad part of this is that most of them are exported. And so Nigerians don't even consume the leather. Maybe they eat the leather in terms of the pomo, like we currently are, but we can't afford the leather we have in this country. And so what we realize is that we have many people, we have a lot of admirers, particularly on our brand. We make very interesting designs, but then we do not have a lot of people that can buy. So we have very low income earners. The disposable income of a lot of people here maybe the maximum is median, so it's not high. So those are the things we realize, that we have a lot of admirers, but not a lot of buyers. Now, while I was making a lot of studies too, we also realized that for every time we take our leather shoes because we work with courier companies, and so let me define the way we operate before I go ahead. We do not have a store. We do not have a warehouse. So the way the products go is by the time they come, we send them out immediately. And so we have courier companies that work with us that pick up the products immediately they are produced. And so we realize that the weight of these shoes ranges around 0.4 to 0.5 kilograms. So the courier companies weigh these shoes before they send them to the customers. So those were the studies we realized then. Now, beyond that, we also realized that now the average American consumes about 0.5 kilogram of this plastic waste per day. And globally, in a year alone, there are over 381 million tons of this plastic waste produced. So, like I was saying in the video the other time, that sadly, only just about 9% of this waste have ever been recycled. So that's a lot of pollution. And there's a question of why are so many recycling companies, but the volume of the plastic waste remains a lot in the environment. There's still a lot of pollution around. What I realize is that I will use this again as if a bottle like this, drink this, the woman sells maybe palm oil or zobo can reuse this plastic again. So what we realize is that the volume of the plastic waste in the environment keeps getting consuming this plastic waste. So that was the problem we realized, because and so we use this plastic waste rather than recycle or upstream. So that the process reduce the. And so I'll give you again that in a metropolis like Lagos, there are over 1,000 tons of waste on a daily. So sadly, just 9% of this waste is recycled. So it was there with this all of concepts started in convert all of food. And also, we also realized that in code, while we are doing this journey, we also realized that they like Nike, Adidas, and there's something called royalties in the US also make use of plastic. I felt like, what can we do better? So we started making just move on. Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, we see you.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
So what was the last thing you heard?
So what I heard last was about circularity within the city of Lagos.
Okay, yes. So I was trying to say something that we, like in a metropolitan like Lagos alone, there are over 1,200 tons of plastic waste produced. That's on a daily basis. And so the sad part of this is that this waste never gets recycled. Just about 9% of this waste have ever been recycled. It was background. We started imagining with the background this in shoe design and mental science, started if we could convert all of this plastic waste to footwear. So it was also with this we realized that while in our journey we realized that the likes of Nike and Rockies are also be making shoes on plastic waste. I felt like, yeah, so what, I don't have to really need to pack a lot of things. So we're thinking in this regard too. So we're just looking at values to the customers, what we can really offer the customer that we can really make a lot of sales from and all. So it was with all of this background, we started making shoes from plastic waste, and not just shoes, they are modular shoes too. And so we believe that with what we're doing, we'll be able to progress into even beyond shoes to things like jerseys, bags, and all. So I think I'm going to stop there for now. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Yes, welcome back. I apologize for that. So yes, please, you said that in a metropolitan city like Lagos, there are 1,200 recycling points. Right?
1,200 tons of plastic waste produced.
Tons of plastic waste. All right, great. Go ahead, please.
Oh, that was last minute. Oh,
that was the last thing I heard. Oh, you've gone way past that. Okay, but anyway, let's not go back, right? So tell me, for Salubata, why is this a cause for you? Like, why did this industry appeal to you? I know you're a creative. I mean, from the look of your sets and your backdrop, I know you're a creative person. But again, how
your voice is breaking. I can hardly hear you. Hello. I can't hear you anymore. Your voice is breaking. Hello. Hello.
So Mr. Banks is back.
Hello.
I'm really keen on having this conversation, but internet is really not trying to help me here.
Hey, sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Okay, so what I said was, as a creative that you are, how did you get into the circularity industry? Why, rather not how, why did you go into the circularity industry?
Well, I must say that I'm more of a business-oriented person than a creative. Anyway, although I'm a creative, but so now I've studied environmental pollution throughout all of my life during my bachelor's and also master's degree. Like I already had this background in environmental pollution and management, and so it was really about like connecting a lot of dots. Everything just came around. I felt like, so why can't we do this? Why can't we do this better? And why can't we do, because we've been making shoes for a long time too, and we feel like, so what can we really do better? We're also looking at what can also help us scale readily and beyond what we are currently doing. So beyond, because truth is that the leather industry is readily saturated now. And so it was really with a lot of background, with a lot of insight in. So if you consider the UN Sustainable Goals, we also felt like, so why can't we link onto one of these goals and also do more good in the environment while we also make more money? And so it was with all of this, so it was funny and the trends. So um, we believe that things keep changing and we want to really change. So, like for example, the UN says that by all of these UN goals, they have a deadline. So you without this particular knowledge of manufacturing or process might still be doing things in the norm, whereas people globally understand already understand all of these concepts. And so it will seem like you are just lost in the air, whereas people are just making a lot of research about what is really happening, the current trends, and what they can really do better. So it was with all of these, I would say, backgrounds that has really helped us to structure a lot of things. Although, yes, we've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but we believe that if we can occupy this niche of these low-cost plastic shoes, then we can help more people. We can save the environment. And I was having a conversation with a lady yesterday, and she was saying the nature itself would really appreciate you for what you're doing. And sincerely, we believe that aside just being trying to be creative, profitability is also very key to what we are doing. And so for us, it's really about constantly innovating, constantly seeing trends, global trends, and what we can really do better. So it was with all of these backgrounds that made us start doing all of this.
All right, great. That's cool. So now help us understand the market, right? As a business person that you are, because it's always good when you have creatives also doing business, the level of innovation is always higher than when you just have a business person who doesn't have that creative eye, or a creative who don't have the business eye. So innovation is always high. So can you help us understand this market? How viable is a circular fashion market?
Well, let me start with the fact that there are so many people are coming up with circular solutions doesn't mean you should also come up with one, because you might, if you do not have the proper background, you might just end up losing in the long run. And so for me,
one of the things that has helped us in the business are, because I have one of my co-founders is a marine scientist. I've been a business analyst. I'm also an environmental scientist. I'm designing shoes. So it was all of these combinations that really helped us to do all of these things. But I must let you know that there is a huge potential in the circular space. Huge potential, because that is where the world is really tending to. Now, I will tell you that there are things, there are opportunities that we've been part of due to the fact that we are doing all of this. And I would say that, so a lot of people do not even understand that they are in a tech space. And so for us, we already have that knowledge already that we are in a tech space. This is clean tech, clean technology. But for some people, that's probably, I saw some videos earlier on that are doing, of some people doing, making things from waste. That is already a technology. You have devised a way to make things better. So a technology is not necessarily an app or a software. And so with this too, we've been able to link not just on circularity, but also in clean tech. So it's really one of those things we've been able to hinge on. So, but I must tell you that, for example, in the shoe space, for example, in a year alone, the last data we have is that there are over $264 billion. That's the global footwear market share alone. That's per annum. Now, by 2023, this will be 320 billion. Now, again, by 2027, this will be $564 billion. See, the truth is that the market is growing per day as people are, the population is increasing. So it's really very important that we do see the light of what we're doing in this manner too, particularly people that are interested in. And so one thing is that, yes, we understand that you are running a business, but you should also understand that you should be providing a solution. There should be a solution. You should be providing a solution to something. And the fact that the reason I'm saying this is because they do not necessarily have to be a problem before you provide a solution anyway. But the truth is, I must tell you that the potential in this market is still really very huge for anybody to come in and maximize what they're doing. So the truth is that, yeah, although in Africa, yeah, we're not still very educated about the circular space on its own, this circular economy. We are not very educated today, but as it is, the focus is that. So what we realize is most people just want to do things, and when you release products, so in Africa, yeah, we realize people just want to wear things, they just want to use things. They're not so particular about the what's it called?
The impact side of things.
Yeah, they are not really particular about the impact. Yeah, so they don't care. They don't really care, actually. And not just in Africa, yeah, there are also some other parts of the world that do not really care. And this is really common amongst people with very low stable incomes. So the point is, people just want to wear. People just want to wear shoes. Yeah. So people just want to wear shoes, and so the primary thing here is, first, it is the design they want to see. So once they like the design, then they can get to be educated about the whole thing. Now, if I talk to a customer, maybe in US now, the person would love me because I would love the concept because the designs are cool, but more importantly, that the shoes are also made from recycled plastic waste. Or maybe in the UK. UK is much more educated in terms of this. But in Africa, yeah, what people just want to do is to wear shoes. And so if you are making anything, you have to make it in accordance. People like beautiful things. They really like beautiful things. And so the design is really very key. And so once your design is attractive enough, then your message will spread. And so that is the first thing, the first orientation we have. But I must really let you know, what we really see here in Nigeria is, now I'll give an example of somebody that made a car. Somebody made a car. In Nigeria made a car, and everybody's celebrating him. It's in newspapers and somewhere. Another person makes an helicopter. Everybody's celebrating the guy. But then if you look at the helicopter, it looks really shoddy. And consider again that about 100 the same helicopters were made since maybe some 17th, 18th century ago. And so what we really lack is the presentation of what we do. So the packaging really matters a lot. And so that is one of the things we really lack. And so the opportunity is there. But if you are able to really enhance what we're doing really well, then I believe that we're going to really move far. Thank you.
I mean, that's quite an elaborate, nature around things. But can you help us drive a little bit, deeper around, the possibility of a size of the kind of market that you might find? So if you're going to give me an array of what is possible within the circular market, the circular fashion market, but if you've got evidences if you've got prototypes or examples of products that you make, can you give us sort of like an array of things you make out of, what do you make out of what? So if you use plastic, what do you make out of plastic? If you use old leather or cut out leather, what do you make out of them? If you have old jeans and fashion and all that, what do you like? Can you tell us what the wastes are?
Yeah, so I must tell you that, yes, there's a whole possibility and there's no limit to what you can make out of a waste. And so I must say that for us, for example, we make shoes out of this plastic waste. And going further, we want to go beyond just making shoes to making lifestyle products, just like clothing, just like jerseys, just like bags that people carry around. I believe that will be saving the environment more in that way. And so some people have gone in the manner of making recycled leather to make other things, like even shoes. Some people have gone, just like you said, about the jeans to make jeans. So there's an example of a guy in Benin so this is it. The guy, in Cotonou, one of my friends that went there told me about the guy that they send clothes, used clothes from France to Benin, just like all of this okrika we wear in Nigeria here. And so this guy repackages this, makes it in a very arty way, and sends it back to Paris or the UK at a very expensive rate, and people buy it. Like
and then he calls it vintage clothing, right?
Yeah. So there was a case of I think all of this depends on how creative you are, yes, and how business minded you are. So another thing I realize is that a lot of Africans that think about what they think about what they do maybe just in Lagos, or think about what they do maybe at most in Nigeria. And so when we are talking about markets, they only focus on this set of markets. And so now a lot of people do not think about the scalability of this idea. So how can I really scale all of this? Another part of the problem is that a lot of people want to do things on their own. They want to do everything on their own. And so aside that, it will reduce your growth rate, your scalability. It will also affect your standardization. You will not be able to standardize these products. You have flaws, a lot of flaws. But then, if we are able to have, and I would also mention the side of the team. And so you cannot do all the things on your own. You need to, have very, very intelligent people around you that can help you you need to see trends and how people make things. But so one problem I realize in Africa here or in Nigeria, for example, is for a lot of people that are in the secular space, they do not know how to present what they do. If they know how to present what they do, the things they do are not well packaged. And so they tend to just target their immediate environment. And so that is why a lot of businesses in Nigeria here remain where they are, because at first they were thinking beyond where they are. And also, you will hear a case of a woman that said, I've been doing tailoring for the past 30 years. But what is your growth rate? There's no growth beyond for the past 30 years, and you are still here. So all of these things are what we need, especially entrepreneurs or startups need to put in mind about what they do. So for me, I believe that there is no limit to what you can do. You can make electronics You can make things out of electronics. You can make gadgets of things out of anything. It just depends on how creative you are. So I would say again, there's no limit to what you can do. Although the most important part of this is that yes, you can do things in a lot of ways, but the way you present them really matters a lot, particularly to your market and more importantly to the international market. So if they are able to see what you're doing really well, then you can have stockists all around the globe. You can have marketplaces that can stock your products, and so I think that would be a better way to go ahead.
All right, now that's very fantastic. So, I mean, for a country, for a company like yours, Salubata, how has the journey been, and what does the future look like? I mean, if you're going to look at, if you say Salubata is successful, what do you call that? How would you describe that?
Well, if I tell you the figures, I do not want it to sound like I'm being over.
It's okay. I mean, it's okay to dream. It's all right to dream. It's okay to dream. But then, what will you say in 5 years Salubata should look like? I mean, we cannot predict 5 years anymore because of COVID. Now, COVID has told all of us that there's no such thing like in 5 years where where will you be? But let's just be hypothetical about it. Like, if you're going to design and say, oh, this is how we want this company to look like, kindly describe how you want Salubata to look like.
Okay, yeah. So I will start with how we started, and when we started, we had we're always looking for ways to do better things better than a lot of people. Now, when we started making shoes from leather, we had shoes made from leather soles. We are the only one making that in Nigeria, and so every other person were making rubber shoes from rubber soles. And now, beyond that, we started imagining again, because we sell virtually all of our products online. We started thinking that we always have returns. So like about 40% of the sales we make, of the products we make, like if you sell 5 products, 2 are being returned. And so we started imagining what can we do to really cover all of this. Then we started developing an application, a sizing application that can help people size before they send, so to correct all these measures. Then beyond that, it was when the idea of the making shoes from plastic waste came, and we jumped on that again. We saw an opportunity, we saw a problem, and we felt like we can provide a solution while we are currently doing that. So beyond that, we've been growing and we've been evolving over and over. And so for me, I see what we're doing as a tech company. We as a tech-enabled company. And so I'm not trying to say this just to jump on it, but the things we'll be doing also says that this is what we are doing. So in about 5 years' time, we believe that currently we are currently raising some funds to readily scale what we are doing to major cities in Africa, in Europe, and also in the Americas. And so in about 5 years' time, we want to be able to own major markets, just like the likes of Nike, Adidas, and Rotis. So when everybody asks me, so who are your competitors? I always mention Adidas, Nike, Rotis. And they say, wow, why are you saying all of this? These guys are big guys. They are big guys in the game. But then I feel, man, that is what I can see this business being like. And so I believe that would be a major competitor, a major voice on the globe. Particularly, I realize that there has not really been any major African shoe startup or a company that have really held a good stand in the globe. And so we believe that will be that by then. And also, we also have a vision that in about 5 years' time, 4 to 5 years' time, we want to have a franchise where anybody around the globe will be able to own the franchise Salubata. And so those are where we see ourselves are. And beyond that, we believe that we'll keep evolving because that is the basis of what we're doing. We believe that is how we keep being sustainable. Thank you.
Okay, so the fact that you know that the resources are wasting in every single thing that you do, how would you say the value chain of this industry, of this, circularity in fashion has been like? We know that many people really don't care whether you make clothes out of plastic or so, but a few converts are happening over and over, based on your target audience. But how would you say the value chain has been? What has been those challenges in getting the resources and turning them into whatever base platform of what you want to produce?
Well, first, I must say the problem is not with the resources. The resources are readily available. That's why they are waste. But then it's the human resources that I would say. The human resources, there was a time we're looking for a way to make even the modular shoes. And went to Aba, and that's the best factory in Aba, best shoe factory in Aba. They had equipment donated to them by UNDP, but then we had people there that could not use the equipment, and so the human power was not there, and so that was a major challenge. And aside that, second problem is the problem of standardization. We realized that if I am able to make 1, 2, 3 products, if I try to make the 10th one, there will be an error. And so the quality assurance is not there. And so those are our lapses here. We have here. So let's take, for example, if you take a Nike in US is the same Nike anywhere in the world. And so we believe that everything we are doing should be universal. And so that is one thing we are lacking here. We are not able to standardize a lot of these products. And so that's why we realize that some manufacturers go outside the country to produce what they're doing. So for us, I believe if this particular flaws can be curbed, then we can do really well. And aside that, yeah, so those are the major things I will really talk about around the value chain. And so, but I must say the waste themselves, the plastic themselves are not the problem. The problem themselves are the human power, the human resources, and the standardization, inability to be able to standardize products, and also the quality assurance. So those are the main issues I would really talk about that really affects us. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello. Yeah, fella. Thank you
I
so
can hear
much. Thank you so much. So Mr. Bank will rejoin shortly. So
All right.
yeah. So you've talked of, okay, he's back.
So internet is really not friendly for me over here, and I'm still trying my best. Okay, so can you help us understand what are the different ranges of product that Alubata has got, and where can we find them?
Well,
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you. I can hear you. Hello. 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 Hello.
Okay, so the question is, what products ranges do you have, and where can we find them across Nigeria? What's your supply chain like?
All right. So right now, you can readily up onto our website.
Go on.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So you can readily up onto our website, salubataofficial.com, or you can go via our Instagram page, salubataofficial. And so we also stock with some stores in Lagos and also in Abuja. We are currently also securing partnerships with some stores in the US and also in Europe. So believe that if you're able to go through any of these routes, you can readily access what we're doing. And so aside the fact, aside we've been making leather products before, and so but now we combined the two, but mostly the shoes made from plastic because we realized we still have a lot of customers coming to purchase the leather products who are trying to still convert to purchasing even the shoes made from recycled plastic waste. So you can go ahead our website, salubataofficial.com, or you can go to our Instagram page, salubataofficial. We also stock with some stores at Ikeja City Mall and also in Abuja. We're also currently securing some partnerships with stores and marketplaces in the UK and also in the US. Okay, I also say that you can also readily go to there's this platform organized by GIT Bank Fashion Weekend. You can also go there to we have some of the marketplaces you can readily get them. So yeah, I think for now, yeah.
Okay, so the next question will be, you mentioned the fact that you still have...
if I'm going to ask you one more time.
Yeah. Hello.
Go ahead, come on. Yeah. So
yeah.
If we're going to ask a little bit more, I'm going to ask you that if you're going to be given a chance to describe Salubata in one line, what will you say it is?
So Salubata is a niche of low-cost recycled plastic shoes that makes a profit while also benefiting people and planet. So that's what I would say.
Sorry, it's about people and planet, right?
Planet.
And
yeah.
profits. So people, profits, planet. At the same time that you're caring about people, you're also trying to make some profit while at the same time protecting the planet. Okay, thank you very much. So if people are trying to find you online, social media wise, tell us what your digital footprint looks like.
Yeah, we are on Twitter, Salubata 1000. We do not have so much impression on Twitter, but on Instagram, we are Salubata Official. Salubata. On LinkedIn, it is just Alubata. And our website, it is salubataofficial.com. So, yeah, if you just type Salubata on Google, you find us. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Just not to let internet get the best of us. What final last lines do you have to share before we call it a day?
All right, I must say that while you are trying to jump onto this kind of space, this circular space, you first need to have very big dreams about what you're doing, because this is one of those limitations we have here. You need to see, because for us, it's Alubata here, we see our business as a global brand. And so while you start seeing that as a global brand, the things you do will also be aligning towards making products really well, standardizing the products accurately, and also putting a lot of things in place. But I would say that, yes, you need to do a lot of research, but then you also need to have very, very wild dreams about where you want to take your business to. Because one thing I realized about the people that do in the circular space here is they do not really think beyond their communities. So you need to start thinking about how you can do things better. You need to start thinking about how you can infuse technology in what you're doing, because that can also help you to readily scale your business faster. Then you also need to establish partnerships. And those partnerships won't just be here. If you really want to become a global brand, you need to extend your reach to every other person. For us, we've been able to talk at a lot of places, just like the likes of in virtually all the continents in the world. And so we are currently increasing our web print globally. And so for us, it's really about seeing ourselves first that, man, this is what we want to do. We want to become a global brand. We want to be able to want to have a name that will ring in people's head, just like the likes of Nike, Adidas, and those are the ways we see ourselves. And so the way you see yourself really matters a lot, even when you start. And that's really very key. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Fela. It was really great to hear from you, and we really enjoyed the conversation, even though the internet was not trying to be friendly. But nevertheless, we're really grateful to have this conversation, and we hope to have you again very soon. But for everyone else listening out there, there is a circular economy hackathon coming up between the NCIC and the Dutch consulate, and it's going to be beautiful. It's going to have lots of other challenges that you think circular innovations can equally solve. So we ask you all to look through our pages at Nigeria CIC on all platforms, and then you can learn more about this and what are the different incentives. So Fela, it was really good having you here, and I promise to bring you back again when internet is very friendly with me, because I enjoyed the conversation, but almost 70%, I mean almost 40% of it was lost in internet issues. But again, this is Nigeria. There's still room for lots of innovation around this, and we look forward to having you another time. Thank you so much, and I will see you all. Thank you so much, Fela. And for everybody out there, I'll see you all next week. Cheers. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you to the NCIC team. Ciao. Bye.
I've been very big on sustainable agriculture for a while, and then I heard of hydroponics and vertical farming, two systems, and I did a bit of research, and it just seemed like the perfect merger, to be able to use the benefits of those two systems, to achieve food security and combat all the problems we have. So I decided to pursue a master's in it and do my research in it, and find out how we can make it more efficient, because I'm from Nigeria, and so I'm not about to spend my time doing something that's only applicable in one part of the world. So that was my big question: how can we do this more efficiently?
Hello guys, my name is Alubata, and I'm the CEO of the brand known as Alubata. And at Alubata, we make modular shoes from recycled plastic waste. Over the years, we realized that there are over 381 million tons of plastic waste produced annually. But we have a bigger problem here, whereby we have just only about 9% of this plastic waste that have ever been recycled. Now we have another recurrent situation whereby we have a lot of recycling companies around, but the volume of this plastic waste remains constant in the environment. And so we have more people reusing this plastic waste rather than upcycle or recycle them. And that has led into a situation whereby we have over 5 trillion plastics still floating in our oceans to date. Thus, with a background in environmental science and in shoe design, we started imagining if we could convert all of this plastic waste to footwear. And so we also realized that the potential for impact is so huge, and the global footwear market is currently valued at $264 billion per annum. And so we decided to occupy this niche of low-cost recycled plastic shoes that make a profit while also benefiting people and planet. Here is our invention. And so we currently have a patent in Nigeria and also in the US, and 2 design rights on this invention, whereby we make not just shoes from plastic waste, but also modular shoes. So as a buyer, you unzip this part of the shoe. Then you can replace it with another color. So aside that, we are just making shoes from plastic waste. We are also reducing the cost on the customer side. We are also reducing the volume we should carry, especially for people that travel a lot. We have 2 customer segments, which are the mass market, and also in about 3 to 4 years' time, we also intend to have a franchise. And so we have a team. We are a team of environmental scientists, business analysts, and project manager. We also have a quality assurance manager, also a fashion photographer. Aside the fact that we are making shoes from plastic waste, 5% of every shoe that is being purchased is being dedicated to feeding children and empowering women in underserved community, because we realize that the downhill effect of these pollutants affect these people the most. So in a year alone, we'll have contributed over 6.6% of our profit to this cost, and also offsetted over 40 million tons of this plastic waste, of carbon emissions from our invention per annum. We really hope that you join us and in fostering our planet Earth and our cause to posterity. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your attention. Thanks a lot.